As a 59-year-old man, I'm staring down the barrel of a birthday and a number that I don't particularly like. But I thought, you know what, I just want to share with you how I view the world. And I'm going to give you 10 frank realities of how I view the world. There's not going to be any doom and gloom because most of it's positive stuff. And if you're new to the channel, guys, thanks for stopping by. My name's Paul, and this is a channel where we share real life experience related to all things retirement, travel, and having a purpose in life. Well, as I mentioned, I'm not really looking forward to my next birthday, but hey, and the reality is when you're getting towards 60, you are getting old. You're transitioning out of middle age into really old age. That's how it is, you can't control it. But you know what? I'm embracing it because I actually think that your 60s are that really good last decade of strong and active living. So why not get into it and enjoy life? Whether we like it or not, this is a reality. It's very difficult to get a job when you're in your 50s and beyond. The last company I was working for, one of my roles, one of the last things I did while I was still working was to actually employ some new management staff. And the brief I was giving was, I don't want anybody too much older than 40. And when it comes to identity, you know, I've got my own views on this one. A lot of people say, oh, you lose your identity. Well, if your identity was just what you did for work, that's fine, but you can create new identities. For me, obviously, it's YouTube, but you can create your own identity as a retired person. Why not? Identity shift and change is something that hasn't really bothered me, and I'm actually really enjoying now creating my new identity going forward. You know, instead of looking at LinkedIn every day, I look at other things of, you know, much more interest rather than corporate goings on. I guess if there is one reality that is a little bit scary for me, it's this one. I want to share my life with someone. I don't want to be on my own. I don't want to die alone. You know, I've only got one sibling, my sister, and she lives abroad. So, you know, the reality is I am going to spend a fair bit of time on my own, but, you know, that's okay. I feel okay about that right now. I'm active in life, and I do believe that there's someone out there for everyone. And I think if you keep being proactive, not be a homebody and be a recluse, you'll eventually meet somebody. So I'm pretty upbeat about that. But for many of you, you know, you could be in a similar situation. So, yeah, I hope everything's going okay for you and you can live a fulfilling life with somebody special. Sorry to interrupt, guys, but if you're enjoying the video, I'd really appreciate if you can give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button so you're kept up to date with all the latest content because it really, really helps the channel. Now, back to the video. And you could most probably argue that this one should be at the top of the list. And I heard a statistic from the World Health Organization that 66.1 is the average age or healthy life expectancy age for Americans until they contract a serious illness. Now, you could argue what that's going to be in your country, but I guess it's going to be somewhere between 66 and 70. So the thing is there, start living life. And when it comes to health, I manage my health, I think, fairly well. I take medication, and look, medication is something that none of us really want to take, and I guess the last few years there's been enough evidence to suggest it's not something that's popular. But my attitude is, and I didn't like the first time my doctor said, you're going to need to take this medication for the rest of your life. Oh, okay. But anyway, you know what? I've since had to take a couple of other things. But if that's what I've got to do to get myself somewhere close to equilibrium, live a normal and healthy life, well, so be it. I mean, people take vitamin pills each day, lots of them, and you could argue whether they've even got any efficacy. But at the end of the day, I just think go see the doctor regularly, go and have all your various checkups. So if there is something that's going to happen, you can see it on the distant horizon rather than it being a tsunami on the shoreline. An obvious question on this one is, will my money last as long as I will? Well, I can't tell you that answer, but I think what's really important, particularly if you're in your late 40s or in your 50s, is go and start getting your plans in place. That's what I did, and it certainly helped me to be able to arrive at the place I'm now at as I approach 60 and being able to access my retirement fund. You know, again, I don't give advice on this sort of thing, but just a suggestion, rather than working a couple of extra years and trying to aim towards something that is unattainable, go and see the right financial advisor and maybe build a plan around what you have and how you can make that work. Because you'd be surprised, a lot of feedback I hear and listen to, people actually are making do with what they have and they're surprised themselves. So just an idea, just a thought, guys. Well, this is a big one, and this was the one that was actually holding me back from taking the plunge to retire. The YouTube thing came along, and I'm not saying that's for everybody, but you'll have your own thing that you do. But I think what's really important is to have those ducks in a row before you actually flick the switch and go and take retirement on, because what you don't want to step into is the unknown. A bit like when you change jobs, you wouldn't just leave a job without having another one. You want to step into something secure. It's the same sort of thing in retirement, at least for me it was. Having something to do is really important. Being able to get up every day, knowing what you're going to do rather than sitting there and waking up and staring at the ceiling going, God, what's happening today? And I think in general, just being able to live life to the fullest within your physical and financial means. Well, this is the one thing you can't get back, so you may as well maximise it. Don't waste a day. As I touched on a minute ago, have a plan for the next day, have a plan for the next week. I don't think too far in advance because for me it is about living in the now rather than too far down the track. Don't count your days, make your days count is something that I always say. And if you're already around the 60 mark, like me, you may not have your parents. But I wanted to include this one because this is a reality. And if you're in your late 50s or 60s, typically your parents are going to be in there well into their 80s. So I think what's really important here and what worked for our family was having a plan, having adult conversations with your parents. And with those plans, things like having power of attorney to be able to handle all the family affairs, having plans for funerals in place. And then of course there's a delicate issue with putting parents into aged care. What I was able to do was do a little bit of reading up on that when I had to put my father into aged care, and it certainly helped me understand the process, which can be a big head-spinning exercise. But that's reality, and we've got to all go through it at some point. But having plans in place makes it a lot easier for when the time ultimately comes, because you're going to have plenty to do anyway, just organising all the pieces to wrap that up. The reality is that you're seen as old in the eyes of younger people, but you know what? I embrace that, and I really enjoy making a connection with younger people. YouTube's a really good intro for me where you can talk on their level. I remember I had a conversation with my father one time. We had to go and change doctors, and he was worried that the doctor was young and the doctor was going to be inexperienced. And I said to him, well, look, Dad, yes, the person is going to have inexperience because they are young. But younger people start life on a very high base with information and knowledge. And then they, of course, build and challenge all of that to create new knowledge of their own. So I think it's actually really, for me, mentally stimulating, tapping into the minds of younger people. And of course, it's really gratifying when they ask you for some life advice. I don't go and preach it to them, but it's really, I don't know, I get a lot of satisfaction when you have a chat with a younger person, you make a connection and they ask you some questions and can see you as a secondary father figure to their own parents. I've left this one till last because I see it as really the only way forward. I don't stress about the things I can't control, and I don't think too far in advance, as I mentioned again earlier before. A bit like with the ageing parents, have all your legals, all your formalities in place about yourself, so those things can be taken care of. Sure, I look back, I reminisce, but I don't dwell too much in the past, because my attitude with the past is living in the past means you can't go forward. Embrace the future, because the future is now. Live it and enjoy it, and just roll with the punches and play an active role in the future, your own future, the future of your kids, whatever it might be. Looking ahead is much easier, I reckon, than looking behind. So there's my 10 guys, and look, no doubt there's probably 2 or 3 things that could go into that and you could add to that mix. So whether you're approaching 60 or you're already there, what are your realities? What's important for you? What have I said in this video that's resonated with you? Drop us a line, give us your thoughts and comments. I'd love to hear from you. And as I said earlier, guys, if you could give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it today, I'd really appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button so you're up to date with all things related to retirement, travel and purpose, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.